We all think we know the story of Dracula, right? The creepy castle, that terrifying trip to England, the whole vampire hunt. But what if I told you that the story we know, well, it isn't the whole story? What if our hero, the solicitor Jonathan Harker, wasn't actually the first guy sent to deal with the Count? Let's get into it.
Okay, so picture this. We're in a place that feels familiar, but something's a little off. It's a tailor shop. You can almost smell the beeswax, the bay rum, the good wool. And standing right there is a young solicitor you'd probably recognize, Jonathan Harker. And he's getting ready for a very, very long trip.
He's getting fitted for a couple of suits, plenty of cuffs to last him, and this really heavy greatcoat, because everyone's been warning him just how cold it gets up in those mountains. But while the tailor is measuring and pinning, he starts to tell a story. And frankly, it's a story that should have been a massive red flag for Harker.
Now you can tell the tailor isn't just making small talk here. He's making a very specific point. He's basically saying, hey, I've seen this exact movie before. Another solicitor, just like Harker, heading to the exact same part of the world.
And the story gets even more detailed, more real. The tailor mentions this other solicitor had a twin brother. There was Oscar, the serious, diligent one who took the job, and Oswald, the one who was a bit of a screw-up. Suddenly, this isn't just some vague anecdote. It's about a real person with a real life.
And there it is, the punchline you didn't want to hear. The tailor drops that line with this chilling finality. He's not just telling a spooky story over his sewing kit, he is trying to sound an alarm. An alarm that Harker, being so focused on his big career move, just completely fails to hear.
Renwick, that was his name. The name of the man who went before Harker and just vanished. Now, that's a name you won't find anywhere in Bram Stoker's original book, but it's the absolute key to this brand new prequel.
So, who's the mastermind behind this incredible new piece of the Dracula puzzle? This isn't some long-lost manuscript found in an attic. Nope, this is a modern story from a seriously talented author.
What we're talking about is a new serial that completely reimagines what happened before Stoker's classic story even begins. It explores everything that was going on in the shadows right before the curtain went up on the tale we all know and love.
And the writer is the award-winning poet LindaAnn LoSchiavo. Let me say that again so you get it right. LoSchiavo. She's taking all that poetic skill and aiming it right at the heart of one of the most iconic horror stories of all time.
And believe me, this isn't her first time sinking her teeth into the world of vampires. Her vision for this prequel is actually born out of a poetry collection that's already getting a ton of praise.
Yeah, her collection, Vampire Verses, has won not one but 2 awards, so right away you know the level of craftsmanship we're dealing with here. This is the real deal.
And just listen to what the award judges had to say. Each poem becomes a miniature ghost story. I mean, come on, is that not the perfect skill for someone building on the world of Dracula? Being able to pack so much atmosphere and dread into just a few lines? Incredible.
A reviewer on Goodreads, Ava, Jess nails it when she says, the imagery is vivid. And that is exactly what you want from a story like this, right? You want writing that paints such a clear picture that you can practically feel the cold shadows of the castle creeping up on you.
But here's the thing. This prequel is doing so much more than just telling a fantastic, scary story. It's actually using the Dracula mythos as a lens to look at some really uncomfortable historical truths, the kind that were completely ignored in the original book.
So that brings us to the big question, right? How does all this new stuff actually connect back to Stoker's novel? And what's the point? Well, it's not just about adding a new character for fun. It's about adding some serious depth and historical context that's been missing.
This news story completely reframes things to explore the actual history of the Romani people, who were enslaved in Romania right up until the 1850s. We're talking just a few decades before Stoker's novel is set. And get this, the prequel shows that Harker's family had a special bond with the Romani community, that they were a pashomanush, a confidant, someone trusted. That adds a whole new fascinating layer to Harker's entire journey.
So this prequel, and the poetry collection it grew out of, really offered this richer, way more complex look at Dracula's world, blending that gothic horror we love with real, often ignored history. So, where can you go to dive in yourself?
Well, the collection that really started it all, Vampire Verses Poems, is available right now on both Amazon and Godless. It is the absolute perfect place to start your journey into this author's incredibly vivid and haunting world.
And really, that's the thought this whole thing leaves you with. It makes you wonder, what other histories, what other voices are buried just beneath the surface of all those classic stories we think we know so well?
What truths might be hiding in the shadows of your favorite stories?